You have to stop forcing your ads to work. You need to fix this one thing first. Now, 99% of Facebook ads fail for this one stupid reason, and I want to show you in this video what this reason is and how to fix it. So, if you're new to the channel, you don't yet know who I am. My name is Justin Lalonde, and I'm the founder at paidadvertising.com, where on the one hand, we help businesses implement a scalable ad engine, and on the other, we grow e-com and info businesses to multi-seven figures with paid ads. With that being said, we profitably spent and advised on over $15 million a year in ad spend last year alone, and let's get straight into today's video. So I've prepared some doodles to make this a little easier to follow, but I want to start here by what I refer to as brute force scaling. Okay, now what is brute force scaling? This is where most people are playing at in this advertising game. Now, when I started as a marketer, I thought that this literally was the only way to scale. Like, I was met with bad clients, and I'm going to explain, what I mean by a bad client in a little bit. So like businesses that just weren't ready to scale. And so I thought that I had to brute force my way into growth for these clients. And I honestly thought this was going to be my life as an advertiser, but I'm here to show you there's another path today. But first, let's define this path right here and let me know if this sounds familiar in the comments down below. So first of all, we're going to have a bucket right here, a leaky bucket. Now, bear with me here. You might be saying, I don't have a bad offer. No, look, before you define whether or not you have a bad offer. Now, those are symptoms or effects of a bad offer. One, you cannot seem to lower your CPAs or cost per lead or cost per book call. Two, CPMs are kind of high. Like when you're looking around the industry, you seem to be just higher than everybody else. Now, three, conversion rate is low. Like your website conversion rate or opt-in rate is just not where you need it to be. It's not on par with the industry's average. Now, if you're into info or lead gen business, then closing rate is also not good. Like people are either not showing up enough or you're not closing enough. And now what happens usually with that is the more spend you end up pushing through the bucket, the more the bucket leaks. And where I'm going at with that, now you have to compensate with the following. One, you have to start creative testing at a higher rate. You need to pump out more ads faster and more often. So that being said, it's like you're constantly trying to chase your tail, pumping out more and more creatives, which there's money put towards creative manpower. So it's costing you more spend because you have higher CPMs and a higher CPA and a lower conversion rate and a lower closing rate. So by nature, by default, it's causing you to spend a lot more than your competitors. And you also have to spend more in creative manpower and more time allocated to ad creatives. So your creatives have a much shorter shelf life than your competitors. So another thing that ends up happening here is you have to overcompensate, or a lot of people start overcompensating with media buying tricks. And that's where I hear people saying, well, Justin, like my ad account does not work on broad targeting, right? How many times have we heard that? It does not work on broad targeting. I have to stick with lookalikes. I have to stick with interest. I have to stick with whatever, insert any other sort of cost cap, cost per result goal, name it. People have to compensate with tricks in order to get their account to be remotely profitable, because that's the only thing they're able to keep such a tight grip around their business and do all these micro optimization and tweaks to keep it alive. But what happens now is when the platform changes, when those creatives are left unattended for a little too long because you've now taken a weekend vacation, you're coming back to a failing business because you're playing with 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe 25% margins tops, which is not the type of game you would want to play as an online business. And so if I keep going down, then you're left with a lot of money lost. And so why am I making this video? This has came about after now personally managing and overseeing over 250 client accounts. And I was thinking about the other day when driving with my fiance, like what makes a good versus like a bad account? And it really occurred to me that there are accounts that for whatever reason, any creatives I launch, any creatives that we put forth on this account, this works. Like they might not all be the best performing creatives, but like even our worst performing creatives are way better than other competitors in the same industry. And like what makes those businesses different? Well, let's take a look at it. And this is where we have effortless scaling. And so to show you kind of what that is, it looks like that. You have your funnel, your sales team and email, your ads, all of which are pouring money into a non-leaky bucket. And so we're going to define again what that bucket is in a second. But so what that does is your bucket is starting to fill up quite fast. There's no leaks. So again, you're keeping a lot more of that money. And not only that, you're starting to have an overflow of money at some point. So everyone is paid and or compensated well on that team. The sales team, the paid advertising team, the funnel team, the everyone on that team can make money because there's an overflow of that money. The owner keeps a lot of money and everybody eats also with it. And so honestly, I'm going to go ahead and dare to say that anybody listening to that who is attributing themselves or feels like this is more where they're at, or they're like, man, I got to constantly pump out more creatives. I have to always be on top of like my media buying. I have to overcompensate. I always have, like, if I just do broad targeting, it never works with it. Or if that's you, I'm telling you, you're probably doing yourself and your team and everybody that you come across in your working environment a disservice. Like, this is the most selfish decision you can probably make for your business. Because again, nobody eats because of you at the end of the day. The market probably has like a poor product or poor experience. You are left with barely any money at the end of the day. And so is your team. So nobody gets to win at the end of the day. Because the truth is, if this is happening, there's something inherently wrong about your offer market fit. And I'm not talking about product market fit here, really offer market fit. There's a lot of overcompensation that needs to happen here. You have to be on the ball with everything. Your funnel has to be the best in the space in order to hope to convert at the industry average. Your sales team or your email marketing team has to be A1 with copywriting or sales skills, because again, they have to overcompensate for a poorer offer, a poorer framing. Your marketing team has to do backflips and so on and so forth just to get someone to want to click and go to your landing page. Because again, there's just a poor offer market fit. And I posted a video lately on the channel that got some pretty good engagements in the comments and also got me a few Instagram DMs, which is one of our clients essentially. I posted 2 in the same week, one of which was an e-commerce video. The other one was an info product video. The e-commerce video, I showed how in a month's time, we've grown at one of our clients like 232,000 in gross sales, which ended up leaving him with about 60 to 70,000 in net profit at the end of the month. And now I had this other info product client now that we were able to grow just in the first half of April at over $300,000 in cash collected with less than like $15,000 in ad spend. And they've ended the entire month of April at close to $600,000 in cash collected with about $25,000 in ad spend, which they're just honestly ridiculously profitable at the end of the day. And it's like, what makes these clients profitable is this. Like, I can tell you for a fact as the marketing team, almost anything that we launch on this account just works. Like, I'm not saying this to like sit here and say, oh, we're not doing any work. No, because there's like work to be done to optimize this even further, which we are doing on a day-to-day basis. But like, everyone's job is just a gazillion times easier because the offer positioning is A1. And now the biggest thing that I hear in the space or from clients or whatnot is like, I'll ask them, what's your offer? Oh, well, I sell like a mobile phone device. No, this is your product. What is your offer? Well, I have a 30-day money back guarantee. No, that's a guarantee. What is your offer? Right? And it's the same thing with service-based businesses or like info product businesses. You know, it's like, well, what's your offer? Oh, we help people with Facebook ads. So that's your service line, right? Or at least one of your service lines. So like, what's your offer? Well, we say that we're going to beat your results. Okay, getting closer, but still not a full-fledged offer. And so you might have seen this little graphic right here from Alex Hormozi before in terms of like the value equation, you know, dream outcome times perceived likelihood of achievement, time delay, and effort and sacrifice, which is pretty much the equation in order to make a high converting offer. And when I'm going back to that, it's like oftentimes, you know, you can take the exact same offer. And the reason I call it an offer market fit is because you can take an offer right here. So something along the lines of, I'll help you lose 20 pounds in the next 60 days without working out more than an hour a week. Something like that, right? Or maybe even better, it's like, I'll help you lose 20 pounds in the next 60 days without working out more than once a week. And if I don't help you achieve this, I'm going to refund you entirely and wire you $500 for wasting your time. Effort and sacrifice, pretty low, an hour a week. Time delay, it's going to be 60 days, so not that long. Dream outcome, lose this 20 pounds. And in perceived likelihood of achievement, well, honestly, I mean, this guy seems so confident that if I don't get it, I'm going to get a full refund. So might as well do it, right? So that being said, this same offer could be thrown as an example in the US market, and you could still find yourself in the brute force scaling right here because there's like a very competitive market. People are very sophisticated. So if you think about the 5 stages of market sophistication, you're dealing with a much more sophisticated market. Whereas I could take the same offer and launch it, let's say in the French market, And now I'm left with a effortless scaling because I haven't changed anything but the market. There are really two components that can help you create a no leak bucket. And it is offer slash market. Literally the only two things. It's like you just change one of these two things or both of these things, and you can fix this leaky bucket. That's really all there is to it. And so sometimes when I have, let's say, e-commerce brand owners coming to us and saying, oh, the product doesn't work. Well, it might not work in the US, but now you have the supply chain already built out. You have all the logistics built out. You have a website built out. Have you tried running ads in other non-American markets? Have you tried slightly altering the positioning of your website to fit non-American markets? I have one of our ad engine clients doing over $30 million a year, and I'm probably going to have a testimonial of him in the channel not too long from now. And guess what? He sells like foam slides. This is the type of product that would never work in the US, but he does so in Norway. And so he's printing money in Northern Europe just because, again, if he had the same product and offer in the US would never work, but he changed the market. And guess what? The guy literally is from the Latin American market. Like, it's not like he's, born and raised in Norway. So he just made the most out of a product that he saw in a gap in a non-American market and went all in on it. Now, what also happens at times is without even changing the market, sometimes what you're selling looks a little like that. It's perfectly functioning, good looking, according to you at least, car. And the market wants that, or you're competing against that. And now I'm showing you a 2000 Hyundai Elantra because that was actually my first car right here. And this is what Elantras now look in the market. People nowadays want something that looks more aggressive. They want a car that looks a little more sporty, a little more futuristic with the headlights like this, with more tech inside. And you're selling them that. And this is why sometimes people are like, well, this is like a perfectly well-functioning car. It's going to get you from point A to point B. And like it has 0 miles on it. Like yes, but it's a brand new 2000s car, right? It's not a brand new 2025 car. And that's the main difference with it. I mean, I'm hoping this analogy is coming across to you as saying you might have a great product. The problem is not the quality of the product or the quality of what you have to offer. It's the fact that it's not up to par with what people are expecting in the space. You're just not able to compete with the overall marketing and look of other businesses in your space. And so here is what this curve looks like, right? And let's say in an American market, a newer market, you can just make any claim and they're going to buy. It's like you, again, go into, let's say, a country in, would it be in Asia or in Africa or even some countries in Europe right now with some of the e-commerce products that are ripping in the US or at least used to rip and aren't ripping as much anymore. And you can probably be the first to market in a lot of non-American countries. And so now you just come to them and say, hey, this is the product. People are going to buy it. That's enough to convince them to buy. But then now in the US, you're at a point where you have to create a new mechanism or an upgraded version, or here at this point, it's like you have to reach a level that is so high of marketing. Like you have to compensate so much with the strength of your marketing simply because like the skepticism of the prospects is at an all-time high. The market is as sophisticated as ever. And here, as it says, the time, amount, and quality of buying experiences has like really increased. So like people have gotten accustomed to a product like this. They've seen a lot of ads around a product like that. They might have even bought products like this before. And so now you have to like really be good in order to get them here. And so usually once you start being here, a lot of people start failing on the marketing side because they just honestly can't keep up with how sophisticated the market is. And they find themselves in a situation like this. And so arguably speaking, is it a bad offer? Well, it's a bad offer market fit, right? This offer could work in a completely different market, and it would actually be a no leak bucket in a completely different market, but it's a bad offer market fit. It's not the right offer for the market. So the lesson here is you have two choices when this happens to you. You either, one, adapt your offer to the current sophistication stage of your market and improve its positioning to be on par with what the market currently wants, which will fix a lot of the leaks in that bucket, okay? So that's option number one. Option number two is you don't fix the offer, you instead fix the market. You take the offer, go into a different market. And now, again, you could be in another situation where you have no leaks in said bucket. And so there's no right or wrong here. It really depends of which one is easiest for you. Some of you watching that might feel as though you're better marketers than operators. And so I'm like, well, great. So just if you really believe that you are a strong marketer, then just go ahead and fix the offer's positioning and stay in the same market. Others here are like, no, like, I think of myself as a better operator. I'd rather just focus on product and I can just move my supply chain or logistics of my business to instead serve a non-American market and go for it, right? Effortless scaling right here. And so I'm using America as an example right here, but this is same for a lot of the first world countries. And I say first world countries very lightly because there's still some first world countries who aren't as saturated and nor as sophisticated as the US. So as an example, like Norway is one of those that I mentioned earlier. So anyways, and so the best example I have to give you is this one, right? It's the client that I brought in on YouTube about 2 or so weeks ago. This is their month of April, $700,000 in cash collected, $26,000 only in ad spend. They are at a 26.56 ROAS right here, which is absolutely insane to think about it. Now, the reason why they're at that level, that's because they took an offer that was working incredibly well in the American market and adapted it to the French Canadian market. And again, now if I show you the stat account of this Norwegian business I was talking about earlier, they've spent 430,000 Swedish crowns in the last month and brought back 1.4 million Swedish crowns for a ROAS of 3.28. Now, this is just Meta, and this is just one of their ad accounts. They also got ads running on other platforms and with additional ad accounts pumping on Meta. And so just to show you this, it's like those are, again, to not like show the actual product of either of these businesses, I am telling you, these offers would never work in the US, never whatsoever. It's much more saturated of a market, much more sophisticated of a market, and they would find themselves here. So again, the lesson in this video is you either change the offer or you change the market. And so the lesson in this video is you either change the offers to match the sophistication stage of the market, or you just change the market altogether. And so now if you made it this far in this video and you are an e-commerce brand or info product business wanting to work with a paid ads partner on Meta, Google, or TikTok, then check out the first link in the description down below to book in a call with myself and the team at paidadvertising.com. And with that said, if you want to work one-on-one with me instead and learn from the way I run ads, have me review your ads, funnels, offers, name it, then check out the second link down below to join our Ad Engine one-on-one consulting program. On that note, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Peace.